We need to keep growing that base. That's why I don't know if right now is the time to go fully live.
I don't
know.
I don't think it is the time, but I think they need to do more things to slowly go in that way. So maybe the live, like the final, like a good step would be like the final card, the lead card is never filmed for next day coverage. So they have chase card, and then they have third, like say they have 3 companies that want to film. You have chase, third, and fourth card all filmed. If you want to watch the leaders, you have to tune in live. So that'd be something that wouldn't necessarily take away next day coverage, but it would take away next day coverage for a specific group of people.
Yeah.
Because the whole idea...
And that's where Austin Hannum multiple times, that's what he was saying.
Yeah.
In his hot take.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are they quickly jump on this notion of like, oh, you're just going to destroy blah, blah, and it's
time
like...
to boycott.
Yeah, but the thing is like, even if people boycott it, the amount of people that would start tuning in to the live and the live only, it would be worth it. And one of my, I have multiple reasons why I think this would be good. Because apparently sometimes when I say my opinions, I just don't fully explain why I think things would be good. So in this instance, if you put it all in one umbrella and you basically are trying to get people all to watch the live, you got a couple things. One, your viewer numbers will go up. There will be more people viewing it. So with a high viewership number, the first thing that comes to mind is sponsorship money. So selling, hey, we're getting 20,000 views every day from Thursday to Sunday. Do you want 80? Like, what can we get for $80,000 over these 4 days, or 80,000 views over these 4 days? Versus, hey, we're getting 50,000 views. What can we get for $200,000 or 200,000 views? The sponsorship money coming in for those different views is going to go way up, and that money is going to go to the Disc Golf Pro Tour, who then can put that money to the purse, can put that money into making courses better and all the stuff.
It's in the hands of the tour now.
Correct. Versus production companies where that money, I don't know if that money ever finds its way back to the Pro Tour.
Yeah.
And then the second thing I would say is you get everyone talking about it at one time. So most of us are all social media savvy by now.
Yeah.
Trending, the algorithm, having a bunch of stuff having a bunch of people all of a sudden talk about it and talk about it to where someone could tune in. So I could be on the disc golf course playing, and someone could like text me and be like, bro, are you seeing what's going on right now? I'm like, what are you talking about? And I'd be like, dude, this is, you gotta turn it on. I can turn it on and watch, and now I'm a part of it.
Yeah.
I can tweet about it. I can do all this stuff where right now you have, let's say we have 100,000 people that are watching disc golf coverage. You have 20,000 watching it on Sunday. You have 60,000 watching it on Monday. You have 20,000 watching on Tuesday. You have 20... Like, we're separating.
It's all spread out.
We're all spread out versus if we had 100,000 all in one day, all talking about it at one time.
Now we're going to get on to more Explorer pages, possibly even trending if something crazy happens.
More people talking about it, yeah.
That's super overlooked, and that's been super noticeable in the Discord, like with the live chat. Where that is such a fun way to consume disc golf that people are missing out on. Like, you can go into the comment section and see what people have said, but like in real time, commenting on shots and hearing what other people have to say about it,
and seeing like when an ace happens, and then out of nowhere it's just.
And you feel when you see something happen live and you were there to witness it, you feel like I just got to see something as it happened.
It's like, oh so
much.
Gosh.
I just watching this year. Hunter and I were actually at work and we had the MVP coverage on in the background, and Paul threw that ace in, and I was like, "That's so crazy!" Like, I didn't see that in instant replay. I watched it happen.
We both just like lost.
It feels so much more rare and special when you see stuff happen live.
Well, yeah,
people just do not like understand that, I guess, so they just don't rate it as highly maybe as people that are used to consuming like live sports maybe do, I guess.
I think I think the first step that needs to be made, and this should be made this year, I'm shocked this hasn't been made yet, is National Tour, Pro Tour majors. Why is the Pro Tour and the PDGA paying media companies to cover their event? That those media companies are now monetizing.
I think they're slowly going away from that. I think they paid potentially a media company to film the women's, but I think from what I've heard, they are starting to have bids. But I don't know if I like the bidding process. I feel like the bidding process should be at a certain number. So instead of like I don't know exactly how it works, but I think it should be like, hey, if you want to film chase card, again, I do think that lead cards should be Disc Golf Pro Tour. I feel like that's an easy fix. Everyone still is getting coverage, but I think that should be Pro Tour. It doesn't make sense to me that you're watching live coverage and there's 8 cameras on one group.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I also...
Especially if we're talking about, like, hey, we should be having, the people that are coming at me being like, hey, you don't deserve to be on feature card. We need to get other players on feature card. They should be all on board with spreading cameras out and getting more players on camera. Mm-hmm. Like, you can't say that I shouldn't be on feature card because other people deserve it and they need to, like, get limelight, and then also say, no, we want 8 cameras on lead card. That makes absolutely no sense.
Yeah.
Like, the more we can, the more shots we can show, the more players we can show, the better.
I personally, I get where the argument is coming from for post-round coverage. I think that's the only thing I have that I would be scared of cutting the cord right now, of, saying we're going only live for lead card, would just be the reaction from the audience initially. So what I would say is we do it live only. If you want to watch it that weekend, you're going to watch it live. And then 2 weeks later on the Disc Golf Network, the Joe Mez, Central Coast, whatever it is, coverage is released, post-produced.
They
can
post-produce their own stuff.
No, I'm saying lead card.
I know, but Disc Golf Pro Tour
and you can watch it afterwards.
Yeah, but they need to cut it down.
The Disc Golf Pro Tour tried it with Steve Dodge back in the day, and he did it the wrong way. He cut it cold turkey, said...
No, I'm saying they need to cut... They can cut... So they have all the different cameras.
Yeah.
Filming.
Yes.
Right? Live. They have all that footage still.
Yeah.
So then after the fact...
That's what Steve Dodge tried to do.
Pay someone to go in.
And this was the issue, was then they took that lead card away from Joe Mez.
Okay.
So
and
then
gave him chase card?
No, they cut... So this is where the issue was. They cut all media companies out of the Pro Tour, period.
See, I feel like that's what eventually needs to happen, but I feel like that needs to slowly...
That's what I'm saying.
That needs to slowly
happen. I think Steve Dodge's idea was right, but I think it was way too soon.
Yeah.
And I think it was super poorly implemented.
Yeah, the problem with
they sucked it.
The problem with the coverage was bad.
Yeah.
Their
live coverage wasn't good.
100 times better.
Yeah. The post-produced coverage wasn't good.
Oh, well, yeah. If the product's bad, then that's...
And the thing is,
but that was the thing is because he cut it cold turkey, so he didn't have time to slowly make sure we had
everything's in order.
Yeah. The thing is, too, that...
He literally tested the live stream at Memorial.
The Joe Mez crew is super talented and really good, but they're not... there's nobody else out there that could do that. The Pro Tour could hire people.
You have other production companies that are doing the same thing.
Right.
Just not at the level of Joe Mez.
But I'm just saying, if Joe Mez was never, people...
I mean, if you gave Central Coast, realistically, if you gave Central Coast the amount of money that Joe Mez makes with their Patreon and all that stuff, you don't think he would quit his job and hire people and their production would look very similar?
That's what I'm saying. There's so many talented graphics people out there.
He's still doing I feel like he still has a full-time job, right?
Central Coast does.
Yeah. So if all of a sudden you're like, hey, we can start paying you $100,000, you don't think he could find people and all of a sudden the covers.
So see, this is where
it'd be interesting.
What y'all are saying in my head, I fully agree, but my deep gut Joe Mez disc golf fanboy hurts because what I know in my head knowledge wise is that several years from now, something with Joe Mez is either going to have to change, or the sport is going to look a lot different. Even same goes with Central Coast and all this, because as the coverage moves forward, it's going to move more towards live.
Yeah.
As the coverage moves forward, it's going to move more towards being under one umbrella. And what the Pro Tour offered back in 2016 was to bring Joe Mez into that umbrella. But you're no longer Joe Mez. You are now Disc Golf Pro Tour. You are the ones, you're operating the live cameras. Mm-hmm. You're helping with the graphics, but you're not building your brand.
Yeah.
You are now the Pro Tour.
Yeah.
They turned it down. They also just now recently turned down USDGC for similar reasons, to my knowledge, where you are not filming this for Joe Mez, you are filming this for the USDGC.
They're not going to have those bargaining chips for long.
That's what I'm saying is where I'm scared as a Joe Mez fanboy and a like I feel like my gut feeling resonates with our audience that is probably going to hate the words coming out of my mouth, but then my head knowledge kind of knows and can see what's about to happen, is the fact that Jomez might have to step back and kind of look at where is our business model 5 to 10 years from now, because we don't hold the power in our hands to
so
say
Pro
this
Tour
crap.
has the power, and the big thing too is all the Pro Tour has to do, if they're big enough that they have all the players committed and sold to it, then they can do whatever they want with the media, and the players aren't going to
and also the players now benefit from the media, because right now.
So let me on your part though. Let me catch on that of like what Jomez should do 5 years from now. One thing that is super lacking in disc golf right now is actual media. Some people might be like, "What are you talking about?" Like, well, there's tons of media. No, there's tons of playing media. There's tons of footage, but there's no stories. There's no reporters. If you go to the Disc Golf Pro Tour and they want to be like, "Hey, we have a press conference. We want to ask questions."
There's a guy.
It's Jeff Spring.
Yeah.
Asking you questions. There's
That's
no one
crazy.
else.
Yeah.
So my thought process is imagine a world where Central Coast, Parsay, Jomez, GK Pro, all these other guys, they're no longer filming just guys playing disc golf at tournaments. They are now part of they're now like a Barstool Sports. They are now I'm trying to think of other ones like that. Bleacher Report. There are these other like media entities that Bleacher Report sometimes might have the rights to stream. I think did they do
the match?
They did the match.
Yeah,
So they have the rights to do some things like charity stuff like that. But Bleacher Report is going out and trying to find stories. They're going out. Maybe they go and they reach out to Ricky and Paul and said, "Hey, we have this really cool idea. We want you guys to battle and do this crazy epic thing." And to me, I feel like that is super valuable because there's very few people, and I would say this podcast, Upshot, in the comments if you want to, tell me more or tweet. You can tweet me if I'm forgetting one. I feel like there's not that many podcasts out there other than this one and Upshot that actually are really talking about stories, talking about stuff that might need to happen, might need to change. I feel like a lot of the podcasts are just talking about what's going on and asking very vanilla questions of well, how did you feel once you won?
Right.
Yeah. Versus
really finding stories and digging in deeper and really pushing the media side of it. So that's my thought is if Disc Golf Pro Tour was in charge of all the coverage eventually, it would force all these other companies not to just be well, we'll just film the best players playing and people are obviously going to watch that.
Yeah.
They would have to start getting creative.
And Jomez has done that some with is it their profiles? Is that what they do? Or is that a Dixon Jaguars?
For ESPN?
No, they did it before, it might have even been before Worlds. They did these almost mini documentaries on certain players. Pages was over her dad's whole thing.
Yeah, they did something with Paige.
And they are clearly sick at it.
Yeah.
But I like that idea.
You gotta build the players.
Because that's where
build something to get people to either want to root for someone or not want to root for someone.